Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I've actually written a few things today. I usually do write more or less, but there's some things that I think are very succinct and are worthwhile. So, for example, today I think a sense of purpose, cause, or belief in our work is what gives our lives meaning. And and so I think it's important that we think about what we have, and this is how we want to do it. So right now we're going to talk about a little bit about leadership. So we look at the country that we're in, and there is a crisis. Morale is low. There's a lot of attitude of everyone for himself. Whereas leadership in Nu Skin, we've got a possibility of seeing with our own eyes how leadership in Nu Skin actually bonds us together, helps us look forward by inspiring us. So, for example, the company is not led by what the shareholders want. This is something that came through this last weekend when we were in Utah. The shareholders are not the ones that are telling the company it's all about the stockholders' money. It's about people, not numbers. So the company rather has a vision of the future in guiding our production and products, constant innovation, creating demand for our products, and inspiring our sales force by always thinking about doing what's right. And that's what helps morale. When we've got the leadership of our company showing us by example that they care. And we'll go into some detail in a minute. I don't know, Dan, if you want to comment on anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the most surprising things about this business for me was everybody coming together, how the healthcare forums and these calls brings us all together to kind of reach one common goal. We're all here to help physicians, we're here to help patients, but we're also here to help each other. And from what Lawrence has told me, I wasn't out at the conference this weekend, so I didn't get to meet Steve Hatchett. But from what Lawrence has told me, and we've had some in-depth conversations about this, the company is in alignment with us as well, right? And that's really refreshing, because when I was in medical device sales, the company wasn't in alignment with the sales force at all. They had the "you need us more than we need you" mentality. And it seems to be the opposite at Nu Skin Pharmanex, which is really exciting for me. It seems that they get it. Without us out selling product, there is no Nu Skin Pharmanex, right? And so that's, it's really refreshing to know that they're really concerned about what our thoughts are, keeping product safety, efficacy, clinical trials, all of that stuff, so that we can do our jobs more effectively, seems to be a common theme at Nu Skin Pharmanex, not only with the distributors, but also with their direct employees as well. So it's super refreshing to see that, especially as Lawrence mentioned, there seems to be a divide in our country right now between the vaccine and non-vaccine, and politically and all this other stuff. It's a breath of fresh air to be involved with a company who's in alignment with our thought process, and we work synergistically with the company and with each of you that are on these calls to be successful.
Yeah. Morale, I think, is one of the big factors as well. And we couple leadership to morale, and we can now prosper from that. So just as an example, Barry Weimiller, Kimberly-Clark, they make machines, but he doesn't say that. He says, we build extraordinary things for extraordinary people. So even though it's just a company that makes machines, and this Kimberly-Clark, they don't say that. They say they build extraordinary things for extraordinary people. So in our case, our company is doing extraordinary things for us. And we're looking at, the business is a people thing. It's a people first. People first. Business is people. And this is something that I felt very deeply when we were at the at the production site where Steve Hatchett, who's the president of the owner of was the owner of that company, is now part of NewsKen for many years. He told us about the earthquake in Provo. So, and he showed us pictures of the building that had fallen down, part of the building. I mean, you know, Provo, who would have thought there's an earthquake there? And imagine being in an earthquake, and I have actually lived in several earthquakes and I've lived through them, and it's terrifying. Think about the fear of the aftershocks. The people are confused. Everybody's wandering around there out of the building now, wondering what to do. Their families, thinking about their families and how everybody is and so on. And Steve Hatchett told everybody, go home, go home. And, you know, even though everybody was afraid and scared, thinking about their loved ones and so on, people started to go back to work. One at a time, they just all went back in to wherever they were, whatever they could salvage, and they all went in back to work. I mean, they had a common bond of responsibility and devotion to their job and company. Think about that. You know, the company's got a reciprocal attitude. That's also what Dan mentioned. We were talking yesterday. The thing is, the one by one, each person had this bond of responsibility, in my opinion, and a devotion to the job and the company. You know, when I was in the Air Force, we used to say one for all and all for one. It was like a team thing. So if there was any one of us in problems, it wasn't one, it was all of us. So leadership is lead by example, walk your talk. And the thing that I think is leadership was where Steve Hatchett has this intense sense of purpose, dedication, and unwavering dedication to detail and perfection. Detail and perfection. He preferred to sacrifice a whole line of product because one of the ingredients wasn't absolutely perfect. He needed 200 micrograms of that particular ingredient. There were only 198.6, which meant it wasn't perfect. Who the hell's going to know that? Well, he did. That's what integrity is. That's what creates credibility with us. That's what creates morale with us, where we know who we've got. Wow, it wasn't perfect, so we're not going to produce it. Other companies would have said, screw it, we need to have, you know, the money's more important. No, it's not. Profits took a back seat to excellence, which is the integrity of the product and the credibility which allows us to execute our jobs with swagger and absolute conviction of what we have. I mean, I came out of that event this weekend with we used to call it build belief. Well, my belief went up again. I mean, I was normally feel 10 feet tall, but this time now I feel like 15 feet tall. This is an amazing company with amazing products and incredible leadership that we actually were able to experience from all of our leaders. We had a show of the top leaders came to talk to us, and each one was more credible than the other. They were all terribly credible and inspiring, and really got to us. And I think this is what's important. We have something that is unique, exclusive, and I don't think we've got competition. So inspiring.
You know, that inspires me, because Lawrence has probably been to more of these fly-ins than anybody, right? He's been in the business for 13, 14 years, and you know, he tries to go every single month, you know, when we're having a monthly. And for him to come away after having been there so many times, so excited about the company, and that excitement was even elevated higher than it was, you know, prior to him going to this particular meeting, you know, that says a lot about the company. And you know, Lawrence touched on a couple of things, you know, tenets that we use on a daily basis when talking about the company. Number one, we talk about the success quality process, right? And when you hear a story like that they were 1.4 micrograms off, and they put their integrity above profits, that really means something, right? And then, you're talking about a company that's one of the most trustworthy companies in the US by Forbes magazine, and that just makes me believe in the company all the more and trust the company all more than I did previously. So it's really exciting to see folks coming back from a meeting like that where they laid out the red carpet from a corporate perspective. And it kind of speaks to the need for us to get folks to that meeting, right? Because you can believe all you want, but until you get there and you touch and you feel and you see and all of those things, it completely changes your attitude. The first time I went out there, I tell this story. I came home and I was skipping around the house for a week, and Kate was like, "What's up with you?" And I'm like, "I'm super excited about this company. I mean, I love everything that they do. They put out quality products. They have integrity. They're a force for good. They nourish the children. That blew me away. Just the company seems to do everything right, and they may not be the first to market with a particular product. So, in particular, Beauty Focus, there's a ton of collagen products out there. But what they do is they see what's on the market and they try and improve upon that and give us a better product, higher quality product to sell, right? With clinical studies. And so that's what's exciting about the company is they give us all the tools that we need to do our jobs effectively. Now, there are some things that may not be perfect. We were talking a little bit about the searching for products before we got started this morning, and that can be difficult for customers and for ourselves, but that's something that they can improve on, right? And no company is perfect, but from my perspective, what I see the company doing is they're putting the right personnel in place. They brought Steve Hatchett and some of the other folks into the fold, and then they give us the products and the technology to be able to do our jobs effectively. And that's what really excites me about the company. 25 years in medical device, I can tell you it was like pulling teeth sometimes for a company that's similar in size to Nu Skin Pharmanex. It was like pulling teeth to get the information that we needed. Clinical studies and things along those lines. Their product releases were horrible. They never went right. They were always pushed off 6 months, 9 months, 12 months or more. We don't seem to have these problems with this company. They seem to have their priorities in place and they execute. And that really excites me.
We talk about the past year or during 2020, the supply chain of many products was interrupted. I mean, product companies are still suffering from actually having products. We can see Ford, for example, they've had to suspend production because of the chip that they need, a little computer chip in the cars. And yet, we never stopped receiving our products. And the quality was never sacrificed, and they never completely failed to show up. This is huge. We never completely lost any product. Some of it came late, yeah, okay, supply chain, and it was a very unusual year last year when everybody was affected same way, and yet we were never let down. We were never let down. Think of that. And we substantially increased our sales during 2020. That's huge. The other big thing that I think is important is, we're all social animals. And we're all from different walks of life and different ethnic groups and different cultures and whatever. We're just a hodgepodge, a melting pot of everybody. But Nu Skin allows us to rise to the level of empathy, caring, and responsibility. Empathy, caring, and responsibility. The spirit of the company the spirit of the company and its leaders is what inspires us to be better. And that's how I think we should have. That is what leadership is. So the company statement is, the mission statement is a force for good throughout the world by empowering people to improve lives with rewarding business opportunities, innovative products, and enriching, uplifting culture, enriching and uplifting culture. That's the mission statement. It's not some long-winded something else. It's very succinct and important. And even though companies are all profit-driven, of course they are. But most companies want predictable, immediate, rapid results. That's why they so bowed down to the stockholders, shareholders. Nu Skin doesn't do that. Nu Skin has long-term vision in mind and doing it right. It may take longer, may not be as rapid and as wonderful as we think, but they do it right. And just other thing I've always, my own credo is, if your job is worth more than your principles, morals, and ethics, you are worth less. This is my belief. So the company walks its talk on integrity, on credibility, on just doing what's right. And this is something that for me is extremely inspirational, especially when we're living right now in this foggy environment of everybody trying to look around and see how can I do better by myself, because there's no national feeling of unity, and we have this feeling of unity in this company.
You can tell a lot about a company based on the culture that they've created. And if you've ever been to Nu Skin and you watch the people that work there, at lunchtime, usually when you're just walking around during the day, it's pretty scarce. You don't really see that many people. But when you see people at lunchtime, everybody's positive. Everybody's happy to be there. I haven't talked to one person at Nu Skin that I got the impression that they didn't like their job or they didn't love their job. And if you look at, the employees that they have there, a lot of them have been there for a long time. That's rare these days. In medical device at the company that I work for, you could call the company one week and the next week you can call and it's a completely different set of people. Their turnover rate was so high. And so, the culture that they've created, the positivity that they create, I think it elevates their employees. It elevates us as distributors, because that positivity rubs off on us. And then, in turn, our positivity is going to rub off on others. And so, that's a huge thing, that's pretty rare these days, that people are happy working where they're working, happy with the work that they're doing, happy with the culture of their company. And then in turn, as distributors, we're happy working for the company because we see what they have. They're a force for good. They have all these different facets of the company that are just exciting to me personally. And it just makes it a joy to work for the company.
Yeah, I agree. And as far as leadership, it's not about being in charge, but taking care of the people you have in your charge. That's the big difference. It's not just about being in charge, it's about taking care of the people you have in your charge. And we heard Joe Chang just renewed his contract for another 5 years. That is inspirational too. We've got one of the really big brains in the scientific industry, in the scientific sector, that is part of our company, it's part of our lives. Justin Kiesel came and gave us a talk. Steve Hatchett gave us a talk. Oh my gosh. I mean, seriously, it's like a little, I feel like a 9-year-old in Disney World, honestly, because there's absolutely no excuse for us not to have the success that we desire, we wish for ourselves and for the people that are with us, which includes our families and the families of the people that we work with. This is something that is so fulfilling and inspiring. I am beyond excited about everything, and I'm sorry if I'm, not showing enough enthusiasm, but that's what I feel.
No, it's when Lawrence and Michael Cook and some others that I talked to came back from the meeting this month, and they talked about Collagen Plus, and people that didn't really know anything about Collagen Plus that were at the meeting from our team, they came back super excited about Beauty Focus Collagen Plus. And then we've got a new metabolic product coming out at the end of the year. And so, for us, a lot of times we look at the company and it seems like they're focused on the skincare side of things. But I think we're seeing a shift right now to them focusing on the nutraceutical Pharmanex side of things. And so that's really exciting for all of us because that's what we're focused on, right? And so, that may change in a year or two. They may get back to the skincare side of things. It's going to ebb and flow, obviously, where their priorities are and what the market's asking for. But right now, I think is a super exciting time to be involved with this company, especially what we're focused on, because they're giving us the more tools that we need to build our business and be successful, right? And if we ride the wave of these product releases, if you do it right, if you get people excited about the product, with the pre-launch like we did, and then you get them excited, moving forward into the actual launch of Collagen Plus, and you create a market for that within your network, you're going to be successful. And for all of us, I think these are opportunities for us to catapult our business to the next level, right? If you're a brand of representative, this one product can get you to Ruby, in a short period of time. Or if you're a Ruby, it's going to get you to Emerald. So, we need to look at these opportunities. These is what they are, and they're opportunities. They're opportunities for the company, but more importantly, they're an opportunity for us as business owners within the company to build our business, be more successful, help more people, help more physicians. And so it's, for me, this is in 2.5 years working with the company, this is probably the most exciting time for me because we have these new product launches.
So I'd also like to give a shout out to Scott Bennett and Stephen Moore for having put this weekend that we just had, for putting it all together with a stellar program, visiting the production laboratory. As usual, Scott's tour of the labs and his talk about that is just really, really excellent. The chats that we had from some of the from Dr. Woods, the scientists, and some of the Stephen Kiesel, the highest ranking people in the company. So, to put this together is actually kudos to them. Thank you. So, Dan, I don't know if you've got anything. It's just about if anybody's got any question or anything they want to add or comment. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to comment on. That probably my final comments would be that today is your birthday, and so I wanted to say happy birthday to you on that. And Kari actually sent me a few things to share with everybody if I can find it here.
Oh, geez.
Wow, this guy wanted to keep that a secret.
Here we go. So it says, happy 75th birthday, Lawrence. He's a leader of leaders. He's been an inspiration to all of us at some point. He's an inspiration to me every day. I met Lawrence 2.5 years ago, and we've become really, really good friends. We talk on a daily basis about, everything from life to the business. And here's some photographs of Lawrence over the last 75 years, from when he was a little boy, a father, and a husband. So wanted to say happy birthday, Lawrence, and thank you for being who you are and inspiring all of us on a daily basis.
I didn't see the photos.
Yeah,
you
we
didn't?
didn't see. You were
Couldn't
too
see
far
him?
down.
No.
Let me see.
Not missing.
Yes, show the photos, please.
Don't show them.
Can you see that?
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty phenomenal. I love this one on the left.
Look at how cute you used to be.
Yeah, what happened? You have to wonder what happened. So
Those are adorable.
just wanted to share that with everybody. Thank you for everything, Lawrence, and thanks for being a leader on these calls and being there for us when we need you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. I'm
Thanks,
gonna
Thank you,
everybody.
Lawrence.
I have to go and have some serious words with my wife now.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
There's a leak that's coming out from my house that's not shouldn't be there.
Take care.
That's
everybody.
awesome. Have a good
Happy
weekend.
birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
Bye.
birthday, Lawrence.
Happy birthday, Lawrence.
I finally figured out what I
Happy
want to
birthday,
be when I
Lawrence.
grow up.
Thank you.
I want to be Lawrence.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday. Thank you.
Feliz cumpleaños y bendecido día. Que Dios los siga colmando de bendiciones.
Muchísimas gracias. Bendiciones también.
Et bon anniversaire.
Merci, monsieur.
Ah bon.
C'est 75.
Oh, 115.
75.
75, yeah, 75, oui.
Non,
C'est
c'est
très bien.
75.